Oh boy. Well, here's a big disappointment, and something I guess people that stumble across this aren't gonna like hearing, but this isn't Baldur's Gate. And I know a lot of people are jumping on the train right now, right? Because they love Larian, they love Divinity, but these people, I feel like a lot of people, not all of them, a lot of people didn't play Baldur's Gate back then and still haven't played Baldur's Gate. And we're hoping for something purely turn based, just like Divinity, and something that's just like Divinity, really. And congratulations, that's what you're getting, because you're not getting a Baldur's Gate game. You're getting Divinity 3. Congratulations. I'm pretty disappointed. Imagine your favourite game franchise changing its genre completely, and its whole identity pretty much to be like something else. Um, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. This is pretty much what Capcom did with Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. This is pretty much the same thing. They totally changed the game. They changed the whole mechanics, they changed the way it all works. For those of you who don't know, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, not Dark Alliance. Dark Alliance is totally separate. They were console games, they were just action RPGs similar to Diablo. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 on the PC by BioWare were fucking excellent masterpieces that utilized the real time with pause combat system, and it was brilliant. Baldur's Gate 2 to this day is my favorite game of all time. Um, and, I played a lot of amazing games, and yeah, it's just still top dog for me. We don't see many games with that combat system anymore, with those gameplay mechanics where you can pause at will and order up to six party members and summons as well to do particular things, and you just have total control of what's going on. It's not turn based. You don't just sit there waiting. And don't get me wrong, look, I don't have a problem with turn based games. Some of my favourite games of all time are turn based games. Persona 5 is a masterpiece. I love Persona 5. Dragon Quest 11 came out not too long ago. Absolutely love Dragon Quest 11. I didn't like Divinity 2. I wasn't enraptured by just about everything. Every encounter to me felt overly grandiose, like too try-hardy. Like, they were trying to drag out the battle and everything was so slow, unnecessarily for random encounters. It felt like a slog to me. I'm probably in the minority of people who like, this kind of genre but didn't really care for Divinity 2. I didn't care for what was going on, really, the story. It was kind of isolated from me, like an isolated case of something I didn't like that I probably should. I respected it. I respected Divinity, and I still do. I think Divinity, for people that like that type of game, it's a great game. It has a lot of good mechanics in it, utilizing the environment quite extensively, and you can combine things like fire and oil and things like that, and you can interact with the environment, which is awesome. I would have been happy with that kind of stuff in a Baldur's Gate 3 that was reminiscent of classic Baldur's Gate, which this isn't. This isn't a proper sequel to me. I'm sorry, I feel like the people that are just content and super excited about this are people that love Divinity and didn't really play Baldur's Gate or didn't really care for Baldur's Gate or just weren't big fans or just flat out just haven't played them at all and just love Larian, love Divinity. Oh, here's another Divinity game. Have fun. What pisses me off is Larian's handling with this, because they must have known they were going to piss off hardcore fans of the originals like me. Of which, the problem is, there's not many of us, so our voices are just going to go unheard. They won't give a shit. But they were really quiet on announcing the genre of the game. They didn't want to do that. When people were asking about them, they were saying, "Oh, we're not telling anyone just yet." It's like, why can't you just tell people that it's turn-based? Why do you have to keep people on edge for months on end just to disappoint a lot of people? Obsidian wouldn't have done this. Obsidian would have done what they did with Pillars of Eternity. They would have made a real-time repose game that's reminiscent of actual Baldur's Gate and the franchise it belongs to and the gameplay systems it had in place. They would have been faithful to the prequels in the series. They wouldn't have fucked it up like Capcom did with Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. They got back on track, which is great. But that's the best comparison I can make. Think about that. Anyone here listening that's played Resident Evil, the originals, then went to 4 and saw what they did with 5 and 6 especially, it was an absolute disaster. And that's because they totally changed the type of game it is. You're doing the same thing. Okay, they're both isometric games. That's not enough. Real Time with Pause is not turn-based. It's a free-flowing type of combat system. That's different. It gives you a lot of freedom. You can choose to move around. You're not stuck in a combat scenario, in a slow combat scenario, waiting for AI to take their turns, waiting for people to run around, just waiting and watching one by one. People will say, oh, that's Dungeons & Dragons, though. You know, that's what D&D is. It is turn-based. Well, I'm sorry, Baldur's Gate wasn't like that. Why make a Baldur's Gate sequel? Why not make another Divinity game? Why do you have to usurp this IP just to change the fundamentals? Like, change the whole way the game plays. I can't be the only person. I know I'm not the only person who's thinking this. This is not Baldur's Gate. What they should have done, nobody can argue this, okay? No one can argue this because Obsidian did it with Pillars of Eternity. What they should have done is make a game that's based on real-time with pause options, but also has a turn-based mode. Obsidian did it with Pillars of Eternity. They added a turn-based mode later on, I think with the console release. And that's great. Who would complain about that? I wouldn't be complaining. I'd be like, okay, that's cool. You know, people have that option if they want it. Everyone's got something that'll please them. But they decided to shit on hardcore fans who respect and love Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. That love that kind of gameplay system that's really not represented much anymore. You know, you don't see much like that outside like Pillars of Eternity, which is also a great game. I'm upset. I'm really upset. Like, again, just imagine your favorite franchise and it just changing it completely like this. To make it look like something it's not, to make it be something it's not. This is not Divinity. I mean, I guess it is now because Larian have decided that's what it is, and they're just doing that with Forgotten Realms coat of paint over it, so people are going to be fine. I guess they feel like people are going to be fine either way. I'm not. This is not Baldur's Gate, so personally, I'll probably end up ignoring this game because it's just not what I was hoping for at all. I was hoping they would go the extra mile, look at the market a bit, look at like Pillars of Eternity and what Obsidian did, the great job they did, and the fact that they put in the option for turn-based and real-time with pause. Because these guys were saying, oh, this isn't going to be like Divinity, it's going to be like an evolution. It's just Divinity. I was watching the gameplay and it looks exactly the same. And the graphics are amazing, don't get me wrong, Divinity looks amazing too, but, you know, that's one side of things. The visual side is... We're talking about the game. And... yeah, I'm just mega disappointed right now, and it's not on my radar anymore. This is someone who grew up playing Baldur's Gate. I put probably thousands of hours in Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate 2 is an absolute masterpiece. I love that game. I played through it again recently. Like, that game's like 20 years old, and I still play it every now and then. Like, I still do playthroughs. I play through the whole series every now and then. I go through Baldur's Gate 1 and all its expansions, Baldur's Gate 2 and Throne of Baal, the expansion. Like, I'm a big fan. And it's just upsetting to see this. It really is to me. And it's not on my radar. I don't know if I'll be getting it. I probably won't even bother, because if it's just a Divinity clone, Divinity 3, I wasn't a huge fan of Divinity 2. I thought it was super slow, needlessly slow. And like I said, it made out every random encounter to be like some grandiose, epic finale battle almost, with how long they were and how dragged out they were. Not a fan. Like, look at Persona 5, and again, Dragon Quest 11. That's how you do random encounters, by the way. You don't have them all be like boss fights. It's slow as shit. Boring to me. Because this is all fresh stuff, I'm awaiting an influx of angry people. But yeah, I'm willing to have a discussion in the comments below. People have their opinions. I mean, I'm not sure how you can argue my opinion on this. I wanted it to be like the other games, and they're straying they go in a different direction. I know the comments are already, oh, you idiot, that's Dungeons & Dragons, though. That's more faithful to D&D. Well, it's not faithful to Baldur's Gate, the games that BioWare made. Sorry, that's just the truth. That's all I gotta say. Peace.